8-week deadline. When it was implemented was probably 8 weeks probably seemed like an eternity, but today we're in the 10th week of the pandemic, and I think it's going to take some time for our restaurants and our owners to get back to the capacity levels and the traffic levels that we were seeing pre-COVID. And so a little more time, we think probably taking it to 24 weeks would be appropriate to allow for restaurant owners that are participating in the program to be able to manage through and rehire the employees, which is what the purpose of PPP was intended for. There was two other things that I think are important for us. One is we think business liability protection for small businesses is important. We're going to see potentially with the reopening of the economy, with the reopening of small restaurants, we're going to see frivolous, I think, and unfounded lawsuits against restaurant owners, against small businesses that are trying to do the right thing, trying to survive and trying to keep their businesses going. So we firmly believe that protection from these types of frivolous lawsuits would be helpful. And then finally, to the extent that there's additional federal assistance that's targeted for the restaurant industry, I think the restaurant industry as a whole participated to the tune of about 9% of the PPP, and we think there should be additional funds available for us to be able to weather and continue to weather the storm. But we're really proud to be here, proud to be part of this extraordinary group of restaurant leaders, and thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
Well, thank you. That's a lot, 10,000 restaurants, and that's some big group and good group too. I know your chains, and I know a lot about your company. It's a great company, so you'll be back very soon. I have no doubt about it. And some of the things you mentioned we'll be talking about. I do want to say before we go further, so this was a very big day therapeutically, cure-wise, and vaccine-wise. Tremendous progress has been made, as I've been saying for 2 weeks, because I've been seeing what's going on and I think spearheading it largely. And this was a very, some big announcements are coming and have just come out, and the market's up almost 1,000 points. You'll check your market. I'm sure you did before you walked in the room, but I imagine your company's doing better today than it was a week ago, right?
We're focused on the profitability of our franchisees. That's my focus.
Okay, good. So what we have is big announcements coming. Big announcements have already come, and tremendous progress has been made therapeutically, cure-wise, and also, obviously, vaccine. To me, therapeutically and cure is more important than vaccine because it's immediate. And if we have something, even people that are very sick right now, we try and expedite everything so it goes really quickly, really quickly, like let's get it going immediately. So if you have somebody that's not going to make it, if you have somebody that's going to pass away, going to die, and if we have something that we think works, we want to get them immediately into those hospitals or wherever the people are located. So that's being talked about also with the FDA, with Dr. Stephen Hahn, who's doing a fantastic job. And so we're trying to expedite things. But very importantly, just overall, what big news it is medically. We are so far ahead of where you would normally be just from a logistical standpoint. And that's the other thing. We're also gearing up and close to geared up because we have tremendous people in the military, so they'll be able to deliver service very rapidly. So a lot of good things are happening, and let's see what happens in the very near future. Steve, you have anything to say?
Just want to add, Mr. President, that thank you for all being here. We appreciate how many people you employ as an industry and the special issues that we have, and we look forward to continuing to work with you.
Good, thank you very much. How are you doing on deductibility, Steve? How's that going? Good? Good, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Really appreciate you gathering us here today. This is a great representation of restaurants from across the country. Jose with his 10,000, my 2 on Bourbon Street. I am the president and CEO of Galatoire's. We've been there since 1905. Yeah, right. And restaurants are the cornerstone of so many communities where some big business is absent. Restaurants are there, and we employ so many people. We just appreciate how swiftly y'all have acted to bring relief our way. We think with just a few small changes in cover period and length of the cover period on the forgiveness of PPP, we have a real great opportunity. And just the very nature of restaurants in general, we rely on social interaction. So it makes us really unique that we were hit hard quickly, and it's going to make our comeback really difficult. That being said, I'm glad to hear your news,
Yeah.
that there's
Well, my
some-
news negates what you just said, because
Yeah.
you would be back into business like you had it.
Yeah.
No seats lost, et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens, but it certainly negates it, yeah.
Yeah, so, in the interim, we appreciate the opportunity to be in front of you. Longer cure periods on the test periods on the loans would be incredible. A city like New Orleans, we have 1,500 restaurants, but only 400,000 people. And so when you look at that, how do we survive? We survive with leisure and business travelers. 19 million visitors last year. And that being said, it's going to take us a little time to ramp back up. So we're looking forward to that period of time, and we believe that you guys have the opportunity to help us. We greatly appreciate it. We've survived Hurricane Katrina. We've survived the BP oil spill.
Yeah.
Restaurateurs are a resilient group, very tenacious, and so we're there, and we appreciate your help.
So your area was amazing, because it was hit hard, but it was very late. We didn't think it was going to be hit at all, and then all of a sudden it spiked up after you had a certain event.
Yeah.
And who knows what caused it, but maybe it was that.
Yeah.
And then it's doing incredibly well right now. It's really down at a low
Yeah,
number.
we've made great progress. The governor's done a really good job. That being said, 25% capacity is tough. To literally think
agree.
that this week when we reopen at 25%, we'll lose
No.
more money than last week, because now we're incurring expenses.
You got to get 100%, okay?
Yes,
You got
sir.
to get up, and I hope it's going to be up very fast. I hope the governor does that pretty quickly. Let's see how it goes. A lot has to do with what I said in my opening remarks. Ivanka, do you have anything to say? I know you like this industry.
Well, I've spoken with many of the people around this table over the course of the past several weeks and beforehand, and I do think it's worth noting the Paycheck Protection Program has given restaurants alone, that industry alone, over $30 billion of relief, representing 250,000 restaurants nationwide, and that's just where we are today. So the feedback has been tremendously helpful. The Secretary's made some changes in the guidance, and to, of course, informing new policy as we come out of this. But we really appreciate your being here, and we thank you for the feedback.
Thank you, honey.
Hi,